Andreas Antonopoulos is talking about Bitcoin way back in 2016, and he's saying how Bitcoin is going to change the global monetary system and why you need Bitcoin. Check out the clip.
Bitcoin is internet money. It's a system of money that exists on the internet, was created on the internet, and it allows you to send and receive value the same way you can send and receive an email anywhere in the world, instantaneously, without intermediaries. And that's kind of what you see at first glance. Behind that, it's a whole platform. It is, as the title of the book says, the Internet of Money. It is a set of protocols that allow you to basically exchange value with other people. But you can do a lot more with it than just that.
Crypto crew, Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. Getting straight into it, our first update from Satoshi Stacker, shout out to him. The chart combines three macro factors which affect Bitcoin and the global economy into a single line, which has a very closely mirrored the price action of Bitcoin over the past 12 years. So, taking a look at this, he actually gives credit to Tech Dev. So check that out there. Tech Dev got a lot of good stuff on his Twitter page, most definitely. But if you look at the Chinese credit impulse over the US dollar index and then compare that to the Bitcoin price action, they pretty much mirror and mimic. And then looking down here at the RSI for each one, you see that you have similar patterns. You have the topping out action. When this white line is above the orange line, that's when the Bitcoin price tops out coincidentally. And then you have a bottoming structure, and then you come back and flip resistance to support before that new peak. And then look here, you see you have this bottoming out and then flip resistance to support. That's equivalent to here, right before Bitcoin blasted off. If you look at the Bitcoin price action back in 2016, it went from hundreds of dollars to $20,000. So where we're at right now, this is a buying opportunity because right now we're around 25, 26, 27,000, depending on when you're watching this video. But where are we going to go over the next 2 years? Buckle up. Another update from Stock Money Lizards. What he's saying is the bottom's already in, and he's showing the post bear market pattern from 2002 to 2004. This is Apple. And then look at Bitcoin. Look at the similarities here. We bottom out and we stair step our way up. We break this trend line, and remember, the trend's your friend to the end. We have this rounding bottom, same thing Apple did, and then ultimately blast up and to the right, coincidentally into that 2024 halving. Once again, buckle up. So we just had this pullback today. We're back down to 26,000. People are a little bit wary, a little bit scared. But look at here, this is the backup last point of support. And if you look at the accumulation Wyckoff event, you see that we are still in this area here. This is that retest before it blasts up and makes higher highs and higher lows. Here's the retest. So we could be seeing a blast up sooner rather than later. And if you're looking at buying altcoins right now might not be the best time. We have the Super Guppy indicator on this, and we're going to take a look at the Super Guppy first. This is Ethereum Bitcoin on the weekly chart. And if you look here, the last time in the chart, Ethereum Bitcoin comparative topped out. This means Ethereum was outpacing Bitcoin, and you wanted to be in the altcoin market in this run up. And then look what happened. We came down, and the light blue then turned to dark blue before it fell off a cliff. And then we went through another halving cycle, blast up, and the light blue wasn't as pronounced as it was before, but it came down, and now the blue just started. Now the blue might not be as pronounced as here, but there's a good chance we could see lower price action because this blue just occurred. And then let's turn the Super Guppy indicator off. When we take this off, what do we see? We're using these moving averages. Moving averages are important. These are on the weekly chart. So looking at the zooming on the price action, you see that these moving averages act as oscillators. We've told you this before. They get far apart and they want to come back together. They get far apart and they come back together. When the 20 crosses over the 200 from the bottom to the top, this is bullish momentum for the comparative. Now, look what's happening. The 20 is coming back down towards the 200, and this could be a bearish cross. So the same way this blasted up when these two crossed, this could fall down. And look at Ethereum had this top here, 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 here. It's just all in this price range around the 7.6% all the way up to about 8.4%, all in this area. But what does this look like? And then we're putting in higher lows, and lower lows. Right here, the trend is changing. This looks like exhaustion. This looks like we could be just rolling over, and eventually Ethereum's going to have that fall down in the Bitcoin comparative. So right now, you want to use Ethereum as the benchmark as to whether you are supposed to be in altcoins or Bitcoin. Right now, it's Bitcoin season still. And then taking a look at another update from Stock Money Lizards, looking at that 61.8 fib, this is what's in the cards for Bitcoin in the short to mid term. We're looking at this bottoming level, comparing this to the previous pre-halving cycle, and it ran up to 13K, really wicked up to 13.8K. Look at this 61.8 Fibonacci level here. It's 48K. Could wick up to 50K, but before having that pullback into the halving, then ultimately having that run up to make new all-time highs. And then another update. So we want to show you this chart because you can use this chart as an RSI color indicator to see what phase of the cycle we're in. Right now we're in the hodl phase. Every single time we break out of this hodl phase, what happens? We go off to the races. We put in new all-time highs. And coincidentally, these hodl phases go through the halving and then blast off. Through the 2020 halving, not quite. We blasted up, and then right before the halving, we had that dump and then the blast off. This was the pandemic dump here. This pandemic dump here, and then we blasted up and then had a brief pullback before we went off to the races. And right now we're still just trading in this channel. So this is something that you need to pay attention to and be cognizant of what's happening, what phase of the cycle we're in, because you should have been buying way back here. But you can still dollar cost average because Bitcoin at 27,000 is still going to be cheaper compared to where it's going to be running up to. So there's still opportunity to make money in this market, but you have to be patient. And looking at this chart here, looking at the RSI specifically, if we make this a little bit bigger, this is the Bitcoin versus the US dollar chart. You see that every single time this comes up, then comes back up to the peak, comes up, comes back to the peak, come up, come to the peak, come up, then come up to the peak. What's the price going to be once we get back to these overbought territories? That's going to be coming after the Bitcoin halving. And remember, this is where we are. We are in the depression phase, and then we might be running to that disbelief phase going into the end of the year or Q1 of next year, whenever we get back up towards that $48,000 threshold. And then this is going to be the run for the new rally, get to some disbelief, and then we'll be in that euphoria phase. So right now you still have time to load your bags, but it wouldn't take too much time, because right now, when the crypto market turns back around and the ETF is passed and the big wall of money that's been sitting on the sideline for some years comes into the space along with retail FOMO, we start to trend towards new all-time highs and also $100,000 Bitcoin price, the whole world is going to be looking at Bitcoin. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all we have for you today. I'm out.